Hi, I'm Desislava. Today I would like to teach you about something called relationship blueprints. Have you ever wondered why you are attached and attracted to specific people? And then why at first they are perfect, but later on you have so much problems with them? How come we've decided that specific things are attractive to us? How exactly have we decided what exactly we are looking in a relationship? How do we know what are our non-negotiables when it comes to relationships? Here's the deal. Our unconscious mind is programmed to seek out people that are a match for us. Our mind's greatest skill is pattern recognition. It takes all the positive and negative characteristics of our parents, of our caregivers, and combines them in a pattern that you have picked throughout your childhood and adds up all the missing pieces that we have all lost throughout our childhood. This is a blueprint, a relationship blueprint. What I mean by saying all the pieces that we have lost in our childhood, the easiest way to explain it is when we are children, we are taught not to do some things, not to act in some specific kind of ways, because our parents don't approve, because society doesn't approve. At first, we are a blank slate, and then we are taught how to act, what to feel, where to go, what to do. We are whole when we start our life. But in order to fit in the society, what our society and our friends, our family has taught us is to take off all the things that are negative, aren't approved of. So we lose those pieces. Overall, we lose parts of ourselves because we weren't allowed to develop them. In different societies, different children lose different parts of themselves. Let's go back to our unconscious mind. I would like to tell you that our unconsciousness can recognize millions more patterns and characteristics than our consciousness. For example, you meet somebody in the park. Your conscious mind recognizes his or her smile, the way that they look at you, but your unconscious mind picks up their body language. Some parts that you've seen and recognized from your father or from your mother, even though you're unconscious about it. Maybe you don't even realize that you're seeing red flags that should show you have to stay away. You recognize them because you've seen them already, and instead of running away, because it is familiar, you are attracted to it. Your unconsciousness matches up that. Why our unconscious mind picks up on relationships that can wake up old traumas? Because the purpose of every relationship that we have throughout our life is to grow from them, is to learn from them. And part of that is to overcome the child trauma. So, in order to become the best version of yourself, you need to learn and stop accepting the default mechanism and patterns that you have learned from your childhood. Consciously, we all want to stop bad habits, bad patterns. But unconsciously, we recognize this whole thing as safe because we have already experienced it in our childhood, even though it's uncomfortable or negative. Let's say, for example, that you haven't had the most loving family. Your unconscious mind wants to feel that lack of love. So whenever they see a probable partner in a relationship of any kind of sort, all it takes is a kind word, is a kind gesture of throwing away our unnegotiables, of the things that we have promised never to stoop so low for a partner, our heart limits. We cross them. And why? Because we recognize that this partner can fill up and can give us what we didn't get from our parents or caregivers from our childhood. So we ignore all the red flags. We can easily explain why we are attracted sometimes to the opposite people, the complete opposite of us. It's because we recognize things in them that we had to give up when we were children, all the lost pieces that we had to get rid of in order to fit in. We see them in them. For example, they're outspoken. They're so much more sociable than you. And because, for example, you've been taught when you were a child that you should be quiet, you should let the older people talk and stay put, you've developed that pattern of being quiet, of not being so social. And when you see somebody that is complete opposite, you recognize that missing piece and you are attracted to it because at some point in the past, you had to give it away. The good thing is that after each relationship, we learn from the mistakes. We see that we are capable of ignoring and not allowing certain traits to be present in the future relationships, all for our own good. But it takes time. It takes experience. Our conscious mind gets better at recognizing and seeing the red flags. In relationship, we can have unlogical fights without really realizing what and why we are fighting. The easiest example of why that is happening is because you see something small in your partner that you recognize as something of your mother's. You see your mother in that specific gesture, for example. But then comes a time when the things that we are attracted to, especially the opposite things of what we are, that they don't anymore meet our needs. Why? I'll give you the same example like the last time. Your partner is so much social than you. At first you're happy about that, but in time that characteristic highlights your shyness, your inability to be social. And maybe with time you start to feel left out, ignored, in order for that person to be so social. And now you start to blame your partner for something that you already had as a problem. That is why it is so important to become aware of all those patterns, of all those tools that can help you. That's why I'm teaching you relationship blueprints, in order for you to start to see and explain to yourself why you act like that, why you search and you are attracted to specific kind of people. Let's talk about something that is called storage unit. All the information that we have, most of the time, we have it because somebody else told us about it. If you had parents that always argued and maybe keep on arguing, you store that information in your mind as something normal. It's normal for families to always have arguments. That becomes your standard. So you become unaware, but in the future you expect the same kind of communication between you and your partner. And yeah, maybe you don't want to have those arguments, but you haven't been taught when you were a child how is the right way to communicate with your partner. You've been taught all the ways that you can start an argument, of how to escalate the whole situation. So it's no wonder if in the future, when you have your own kind of relationship, that you repeat them, even though you don't want to. But that is the thing you've been taught. This information is all stored in that storage unit. Relationships are one of the main key things that impact our happiness. We have to learn to unlearn harmful patterns. The first step is always being aware of what is going on, of getting that unconscious part of you and transform it in conscious. And that is always manageable by hard work, consistency, and willingness to try. Do you recognize yourself in some of the things that I talked about? Can you share with me some situations in which the saying opposites attract was valid for you? How did that relationship go? Did you manage to work through the problems? I would love to hear your opinion, and if you have any questions, don't shy away from asking them. This is a safe platform for discussions. I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!